Another Chelsea manager bites the dust, just like how the Avengers did when Thanos snapped his fingers in Infinity War. And honestly, this is no surprise, considering Liam Rosenior has not been getting the best of results for Chelsea in the past few weeks. They have even struggled to score a goal in the Premier League and have gone 6 matches without scoring in the Premier League. Their last win in all competitions came against Port Vale. And honestly, Chelsea have not really improved under Liam. When he first came in January, there was this short period of where a new manager bounced where they were winning matches back. Then when they started facing the big boys, they have struggled. None of the Chelsea players seem to have improved. And yeah, the fans started to complain, started to turn on the ownership. And as you know, owners are always going to throw the manager under the bus than sack themselves, basically. And it looks like Chelsea as a club don't really know what they want. Because currently they look like a knockoff version of Brighton, just that they spend more money. They sign a lot of players, and within a year or two, the players are sold, and they then sign new players to replace the old players that didn't being sold. And I don't know how you build a winning team when you constantly churn out players every summer. Because, example, they sign players like Garnacho, things this summer. I feel like one or both of them will not even be there in the next 2 seasons because they don't really help elevate Chelsea's attack. You keep hearing people saying, yeah, they're signing players for the future, players for the future. But if you keep repeating the cycle of signing players within 2 years, shipping them off, signing players within 2 years, shipping off, you're not really building a squad that can compete for the major honors. You're rather just becoming a buying and selling club, like you're basically involved in trading. And that's not what we have become accustomed to Chelsea over the past 26 years or 23 years since Roman Abramovich came in around 2003, 2004. We have known Chelsea to be a club where, yeah, they hire and fire managers, but they do that with the aim of winning trophies. If you're a manager, your lifespan at Chelsea is basically 2 years, then you're out. They sacked Carlo Ancelotti for winning the Premier League. They sacked one of their greatest managers, Jose Mourinho. They even sacked Villas-Boas for winning the Champions League. Yeah, I know he was not the best, but still, Chelsea were always aiming to be the best, to always win for the trophies. Next year will be 10 years since Chelsea last won the league title. And yeah, though they won the Champions League in 2021, that Champions League feels like it was way longer than 2021. Chelsea really need to find out what they want to do as a club, because if they're going to continue with this model of just selling players, buying young players, about 10 in the summer, selling them the following summer, then buying another to replace. They are not going to build any core structure because, yes, all well and good saying you want to buy young players so that they grow together or something, but those young players, there's no guarantee that just buying young players and then playing and growing together will lead to success or bring about trophies. And plus, when those young players start to grow, they'll start to see their club, their country mates, or other clubs winning trophies while they are stuck in this constant labor of replacing their teammates being replaced every 2 years by younger players that in some cases are not even better. Like, can we say Garnacho is an upgrade on Madueke? I don't really think so. Jamie Gittins has not really played that much this season. This cycle just seems to be continuing. I think they need a lot of experienced players because the young players are not really performing. Players that seem to have been performing under Mauricio position like Kopama. We have not actually seen the best of Kopama in, I'll say, 2 years now. He's not being played in his preferred position or is injured. It's hard to know what has happened to Kopama, but he's starting to look like a one-season wonder, which I don't think is the case. But honestly, it looks like the team has no real. The team lack leaders. James is supposed to be the leader of the team, but he's almost always injured. Enzo Fernandez looks like his mind is already out of Chelsea. Chelsea, they seem to be a mess. This ownership, we have about 4 sporting directors or so. And I don't know if a team really needs those amount of number of voices because to feel like they're just I don't think they'll always be in line with the decisions. I think there'll constantly be arguments and disagreements about what direction the club should go. Because there are so many young players that have signed that I'm not even sure some have even played for Chelsea officially. Then within a year or two, they get sold. And now focus on the manager. They fired Thomas Tuchel. They brought in Graham Potter, gave him a long paid Brighton compensation gave him, I think, a 5-year contract. Then within 6 months, he didn't finish a year that he was sacked. They brought in Frank Lampard as a caretaker manager. And that experience made Frank Lampard look worse than he actually is, because he has finally been able to get Coventry back into the Premier League. That didn't work. They brought in Pochettino, and yeah, Pochettino struggled in the beginning, but in the final few months of the season, you could see the players starting to adapt to the way he wanted them to play, and they're building something. And they only missed out on the Europa League because Manchester United won the FA Cup that season. And you would have thought, yeah, they would rather build on that and gonna add experience, better players to go back. No, they decided to part with the team because they wanted a yes man. They brought in Maresca. Maresca managed to win them the Club World Cup and also the Conference League. People say Chelsea shouldn't have been participating in the Conference League and all that, but still, he managed to win in the Club World Cup final. They played one of their best performances in a while, where they completely dismantled PSG. People thought that was the start of something new, and this era is going to be the good vibes or the good times are back in Chelsea. But no, that's not happened. They didn't sign the players which Maresca wanted when he was complaining that they wanted a new centre back after Liverpool got injured. They signed up they ended up spend a lot of money on some players such as Garnacho, Gittins, which have not really raised the profile of the team. Estefan has been a good signing, but he's been hot and cold this season, and Chelsea just seem to lack clear identity of what they want to do. Whether they're a club that's competing for trophies or are just stuck with the idea of buying players and selling them for profit. And no big club really just buys players and sell them for profit. If you look at Europe, all the big clubs try to keep their best players and trying to do incremental additions rather than trying to sign a lot of players. Liverpool tried to fix all their problems in one summer, sign a lot of players, and see where that got them. Chelsea are in this situation. They are not even signing experienced players. Sometimes players from South America, players from France who have no Premier League experience, they sign them, they hardly give them experience, they end up sending them out to loan. Some never even come back to play for the club, are sold later. I feel like they need clear direction, because if this is to continue to go on, Chelsea are going to be left behind. As well, the old Chelsea where we knew them for winning trophies, they are going to believe that's going to just become a story told in the past, because now the Premier League is changing. Clubs keep getting better and better. So you can't also in Europe, teams keep getting better. You can't be stuck in this model of just signing young players for the sake of signing. You need experience, and until Chelsea decide to change their model, they are going to just be stuck in this situation of hiring a manager, giving him a long contract. Within the 6 months or even 3 months, you fire him, they bring another person. And that even begs the question, who should Chelsea even go for? Because it feels like they keep going for managers who are supposed to be yes men. They chew and spit them out within 2, 3 months, and their cycle ends up continuing. I feel like they need, until the owners actually change their approach and give a higher manager who will give their manager complete control of the sporting side, and or if not complete control, work hand in hand with the sporting director. They are just going to be stuck in this loop, and like I said, they are just going to end up being left behind by other teams in Europe, because football waits for no one. And if you are just going to continue on this cycle, before you realize, you end up like modern day AC Milan, where you have a great history, but no, but you don't really compete that often. You are just stuck in this weird situation of you used to be big, but you can't really achieve that anymore. And you are too big to also fail. So you are just there basically. And that is what Chelsea is likely to end up if they don't end up making drastic changes. Because honestly, they look like a club confused as to what they want to do, and the fans are showing their dissatisfaction with the board. Let's see how the rest of the season goes. They have given it back to their interim manager McFarlane. Let's see how he prepares for the match against Leeds and for the remainder of the season. That's my thoughts on Chelsea sacking of Rosenior. Rosenior himself, yeah, I feel like I will not say he had no choice per se in taking the moving from Strasbourg to Chelsea, and now not felt like that was a natural step for him, and maybe he took it too soon, and maybe this is going to affect his image and standing in the league. Maybe he struggle to find other jobs, or maybe people may say Chelsea are in that case anyway, and might try to give him another chance. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notification, and let me know what you think about Chelsea sacking of Rosenior, and who do you think will take over the job?